We just got back from a 13-day cruise on board the Costa Pacifica. And today, we're going to give you a complete review of our experience. As usual, we're going to rate every aspect of our cruise from 1 to 5 anchors.
Stay tuned!
Hi everyone, I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea. And today we'll give you a full in-depth review of our 13 days cruise to Greece on board the Costa Pacifica. But first, if you like travel-related videos like this one, now it's a great time to hit the subscribe button down below so you'll never miss any future videos.
Absolutely, and if you like anything that you see, don't forget to give us a like.
Let's start our review by talking about boarding. As we mentioned before on another Costa Cruise review, we received our assigned boarding time a couple of weeks prior to departure. Our boarding time was 10:30 a.m. and we were at the gate exactly at that time.
Actually, we were the first ones there.
Absolutely. That day there were 2 ships in port, so we were a bit concerned that the boarding might be a little chaotic. In reality, it was incredibly smooth, and by 10:45 we were able to walk on the ship.
Yeah, it was really quite incredible.
The boarding procedure could not be easier or smoother. Also, we would like to take a moment to mention another great service.
The Costa partners.
Yes, Costa partnered with a company called Bag Express. This company offers a great service for bags. They pick up our bag at home 5 days prior to departure, and a couple of the hours after boarding, our bags were in front of the cabin.
Yep, like magic, actually.
Absolutely. The service is fantastic and allows us to take the train to the port without having to worry about the bags and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we just took like a little carry-on for the hotel.
On top of that, because we are Costa Club Gold members, we can use the service completely free of charge for 1 bag per person, so 1 each. Really, really nice. So for the boarding procedure, my vote is a solid 5 out of 5, no question about that. And I give a further 5 out of 5 for Bag Express as well, for the incredible good service. So what's your vote, Rick?
Well, one thing that's always bothered me about Costa is that because I'm Canadian and travel on my Canadian passport, for some reason, Costa always keeps my passport. But this time, on the Costa Pacifica, they let me keep it. Not only that, the agents who looked at my passport and visa were fully trained, and I was good to go in a matter of seconds. You remember? It was like, boom, like that. So, for boarding on this cruise, my vote is also a 5 out of 5 anchors. Moving on to our next topic on board the Costa Pacifica, we're going to be talking about the ship. The Costa Pacifica was built by Fincantieri and launched in 2008 and handed over to Costa in May of 2009. It's 290 meters long and 35.5 meters wide. The Costa Pacifica has a maximum capacity of 3,780 passengers and 1,100 crew members. Now, overall, the ship is a little vintage, and I think the decor is mildly outdated, but here's the thing. Like other Costa ships, the Costa Pacifica is kept in excellent condition. Every nook and cranny was clean. Now, Deck 5 is where you're going to find all of the bars and lounges and activities, and like other ships of its class, it's impossible to walk from the front to the back of the ship on decks 3 and 4 because the main dining rooms are in the back and in the middle of the ship. Now, one feature that was really nice on the Costa Pacifica is the fact that the ship had 2 covered pools, both on Deck 9, one in midship and one all the way at the back. Both covered pools have a retractable roof that can be opened on nice days.
Yep.
So whoever thought of this, well, they were thinking ahead. I mean, having a retractable roof is an excellent feature that makes the ship usable in
any destination.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in colder destinations. You remember Antarctica?
Yep.
Not only that, if the weather is bad, the passengers have a place to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ship also has an entirely outdoor pool on Deck 11 with one of my favorite features, a water slide. Also on board the Costa Pacifica, there's also plenty of space outdoors for sunbeds to get a tan. And you know, this is also a nice feature because some cruise companies, they cram the sunbeds and passengers to the point where
No space.
no, there's no space. You kind of feel like a sardine, but not so on this ship. In fact, on this particular cruise, we were at full capacity, and we never had a problem finding a sunbed.
No, not at all.
One thing, though, we think it's important to mention that many of the sunbeds are quite old, and they probably need to get replaced because you know that mesh in the back? Well, all of the ones that I tried, they all were worn out, and you ended up getting this annoying bar in the middle of the back. So my vote for the ship is a solid 4 anchors out of 5. What's your vote, Andrea?
Well, I think I give Costa Pacifica 3 out of 5. I really think that the decor is quite dated, and the fact that it's not possible to walk from one side of the ship to the other, any other deck than 5, kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
But I have to say that the ship is very well kept, like very, very well kept, so I like that. Our next topic for our Costa Pacifica cruise review is the itinerary. The cruise was a combination of 2 separate itineraries. The first week was a repositioning from the city of Savona to the city of Taranto in Italy, with the port of call in Civitavecchia, Naples, Catania, Argostoli in Kefalonia and Corfu. And then the second week was a round trip from Taranto that stopped in Catania, Malta, Mykonos and Santorini, with 2 sea days in between Malta and Mykonos and between Santorini and Taranto. In other words, it was a 13-day cruise with only 2 sea days.
Yeah,
quite amazing.
We've never seen that before.
No. Actually, the first week was quite interesting to have a cruise with no sea days at all.
Yep.
So they crammed all the party in one afternoon, basically.
Practically.
We visited all this port before several times, so for us was nothing new. But overall, we felt that the itinerary was good. We also deeply enjoyed the 2 weeks of sun, sailing, and lots of fun.
And you can see we are all tanned now.
Now, one thing worth mentioning is that not many passengers on Costa do back-to-back cruises. And some of the staff, especially at the front desk, are not very familiar with the procedure of dealing with the situation.
Yeah, they're not even travel agents.
No. But we'll talk about
exactly.
more that later. Overall, I give the itinerary a solid 5 out of 5, even though ports I visited before. I always enjoy cruising in the Mediterranean, especially when it's sunny and warm. So 5 out of 5, no problem.
Exactly.
What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so I have to say for this particular itinerary, as you said, we've seen the ports before. Actually, I have never seen Taranto before. But 11 beautiful ports in 13 days. I loved it. And not only that, we had sun almost every single day. Now, obviously, I cannot rate the weather, at least not it wasn't Costa's fault, but I gotta say it's amazing. I guess the big difference between sailing in the wintertime and in the late spring or early summer in the Med, well, it's the amount of sun. So for me, the Costa Pacifica, well, the itinerary gets a solid 5 out of 5 anchors. Moving on to our next topic on our Costa Pacifica cruise review, it's the cabin. Now, like usual, we picked a balcony cabin, and this time it was on deck 9 in the front of the ship. Now, that wasn't by accident, because we like to be close to the main pool. But if we were to sail again on the Costa Pacifica, we believe that deck 11 would be a better choice for us, for 2 reasons. Well, first, the main pool on deck 9 was covered, so wasn't ideal for relaxing in the sun. The main pool is on deck 11, and we found it much better for us. And second, because the spa is also on deck 11, and if you know us, you know that we like to spend a lot of time at the spa. Now, let's talk about the cabin itself. The cabin is the usual Costa balcony cabin. It's well laid out, it's efficient, with no frills. The cabin is spacious enough and has a good amount of closet space and a nice desk area. The cabin also has 2 electrical plugs by the desk, one European and one American type. Also, one of the bedside tables has 4 USB ports to charge all of your electronics. And that also means one side of the bed can charge everything, but not the other. So for this trip, on our first port in Rome, I bought a long USB cable and ran it across the bed so I could charge my phone on my side of the bed. Not a big deal, but, you know. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about the balcony. The balcony was not the widest, but not the smallest we've been on. I'd even say it was usable, even though we didn't on this trip.
You didn't spend much time on the balcony, no?
No. Now, one thing that makes me shake my head at, the cabins on board the Costa Pacifica still have that ugly, old, brown couch that we're used to seeing on other Costa ships. Why? Now, the bathroom is also a decent size with a decent shower. It's not the Costa Toscana shower, but it's certainly bigger than we're used to on Princess. Again, simple, no frills, but efficient. One thing that was a little irritating is that sometimes there was no cold water in the shower. In other words, if you'd be showering, the only thing that came out was boiling hot water.
In the morning.
In the morning when everybody else is showering. Now, I contacted reception about it about 3 or 4 times, and they came out every day. But after about day 10, they offered to change the cabin. We politely declined for 2 reasons. Number 1, we figured out that if we shower early, the temperature is fine. And number 2, we absolutely loved our cabin steward. More on that later. Now, if it wasn't for the hot water issue, my vote would be a solid 4 out of 5 anchors. But considering that hot water was a problem for us and we found out other people on this trip, we're going to have to give it, or I'm going to have to give it a 3 out of 5 anchors. Andrea, what do you think?
My vote for the cabin is a 4 out of 5. The couch needs to be updated, but overall the space is good, and the USB plugs by the bed are very, very handy.
Yeah, your side of the bed.
Yeah, my side of the bed. Let's talk about our next topic to review on board of the Costa Pacifica, and we talk about the service. Overall, the service on board the Costa Pacifica was excellent. Our cabin steward, Orlin, was incredibly friendly, helpful, and efficient. One thing worth mentioning that was that we had turned down service every night, even though the cruise line does not offer this service anymore, unless you're traveling in a suite or a platinum member. It was a particularly nice touch that we deeply enjoy.
Right.
So, whomever was responsible for it, thank you so much. We really loved it.
Absolutely.
Our waiters at the Blue Moon restaurant, Arun and Nadia, were amazing. Always happy, very professional, very friendly, super efficient, and really bonded with us. It was quite sad to leave them, and we still miss them. Also, the restaurant manager Sulman, Alan, and Connor were extremely nice and always willing to talk and help us all the time.
Not that we needed a lot of help.
No. We also found that the service was excellent in every single bar we tried.
That's true.
Costa also has a dedicated host on board for each of the languages that is spoken on board. We had several conversations with the English-speaking host, Galina, the Spanish host, Christian, and the French host, Lucas. And they were exceptional at their job and really, really friendly. So,
and by the way, if you guys are watching, please feel free to say hi to us on social media or email us.
And really well done, guys.
Yes, definitely.
Also, we used the Future Cruise consultant, Michael, and he was really, really good. He was incredibly helpful, friendly, and efficient. We booked a cruise with him and invited us for dinner. That was a quite nice touch.
I think we're going to book more cruises on board.
Yeah. The only area where I think the service could be improved was the front desk. We went there to inquire about the procedure for changing our keys at the end of the first week, at the beginning of the second week. This because we were told that we had to change the keys in between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. on the last day. But we had an excursion, so we were kind of confused.
And we had to be on the bus at 8:15.
Yeah. So we're like, how do we do this? We can't be in 2 places at the same time.
No.
And nobody at the front desk was able to give us the correct answer. People at the front desk were very new, and they seemed they never dealt with this before, and they had no experience. And worse yet, no one said, I don't know, but let me find out for you, and I'll get back.
No, that is so basic, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong say, I don't know, just find out. And
let us know when you do.
Yeah, nothing. In the end, we went to the front desk early before our tour and found a nice manager who actually was able to take care of the problem, solve it, no problem. So Costa, if you are listening, A bit of better training for the front desk clerk would be really good.
Yeah, or just, you know what, hey, I'll find out, I'll let you know, right?
Exactly. Well, now it's time to vote for the service overall, and on board was exceptional, and they deserve a solid 5 out of 5, with the exception of the front desk.
Yeah, but
it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, no one's perfect, right?
No. So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so over the course of 13 days on board the Costa Pacifica, we had interactions with so many of the crew. From the waiters, the waitresses, the cabin stewards, the barman, the tour operators, and so on and so on and so on. Guys, you guys are amazing. You are our family when we are on board. And I honestly forgot about the issue at reception, so actually, but there was one thing. Remember, they didn't give us the onboard credits for the second week.
Mm-hmm.
I went to reception to let them know, and they took my details, and the credits arrived later in the day. So it was very easy. So for this trip, my vote for service is also a 5 out of 5 anchors. All right, so let's review another aspect of the Costa Pacifica, and we're going to talk about the ship cleanliness. Now, like other Costa ships, the Costa Pacifica was insanely clean. Every teeny tiny corner of the ship was constantly washed and washed again and scrubbed, and that makes me really happy. Mm-hmm. Even after the busy parties, after just a few hours, the ship was spotless. Now, we noticed also a lot of maintenance was going around the ship all the time. For example, the pools, they were emptied, and the lights were replaced and painted and ready to be used again the following morning. And even our balcony was washed twice in our 2-week cruise. Well, I guess once a week, right? Mm-hmm. Another thing we noticed on this sailing was the fact that Costa seems to be moving away from plastic, and we think that's quite nice. Drinks don't automatically have straws, and if you do ask, they give you a biodegradable one. And in the cabin, there's practically no plastic, just paper. The only thing I think they need to change is those damn bottles of plastic bottles of water. But I get it, Italians like their bottled water. But here's what I would do if I was Costa. I'd order up a whackload of 2-liter glass bottles, put a giant Costa logo on them, and fill them with ship water. Ship water is perfectly safe to drink and much better for the environment. Well, at least I think. There certainly would be a lot less plastic being used, and restaurants do this all the time. Lastly, another thing I noticed that didn't happen on this ship that happened in others is I didn't notice anybody washing the carpets, by hand. And I thought when I saw this on other ships, it was really nice. I didn't see it on this ship, but on the Costa Pacifica, the carpets seem to be clean all the time. All right, so now it's time to vote for the cleanliness, and on board the Costa Pacifica, this is easy, 5 out of 5 anchors. Andrea, what do you think?
No doubt for cleanliness, 5 out of 5 for me as well. It's the right vote because the ship was spotless. Moving on to our next topic to review on board of Costa Pacifica, we talk about the food. Food on Costa is usually exceptional. Unfortunately, we have to admit that on this particular cruise, it could have been a little better. Still really, really good, but not as good as we had on previous sailing, especially on board the Costa Toscana. Check out the video here.
Yeah, that was the best cruise ever. Absolutely.
For the food, seasoning was always spot on. Also, pasta were delicious as usual, and the problems were with the proteins. In particular, we had steaks several times that were always tough, chewy, and not always properly cooked.
Yeah, overcooked, undercooked, chewy.
This even happened at the Teppanyaki restaurant, that my steak was quite tough and way overdone.
Yeah, no.
No, we didn't mention it because we didn't want the chef to redo it.
We were having a good time.
We enjoyed it, so we didn't care.
Yeah, it would have upset the timing as well.
Exactly. Another minor problem we noticed that on this particular sailing, the selection of food felt mildly repetitive, with a few dishes repeated a couple of times even during the same week. But desserts were incredible as usual and perfectly prepared and presented.
Yep.
So, time for me to vote for food, and unfortunately I have to give a 4 out of 5 for this sailing. Maybe because we were so spoiled on the Costa Toscana that it would be impossible to find food as good as that one. So what's the reward, Rick?
Yeah, the Toscana may have ruined every future cruise experience, but look, aside from the steaks, I would say that everything was, practically perfect. And best yet, I didn't have to cook, so we're good. My vote for food is a solid 5 out of 5. All right, so our next topic to review on board the Costa Pacifica is the drinking package. As mentioned before in many other Costa videos, we think that the drink package on Costa is an excellent value, especially if bought as part of the all-inclusive package at the time of booking. That's when you're going to get the best value, folks. The basic drink package is called My Drinks. You have a choice of 3 red wines, 3 white wines, 1 rosé, and 1 prosecco. Also included are most cocktails, draft beer, digestives like grappa and rum, and specialty coffees like cappuccino and sodas and juices, and so on and so on. Now, buying an upgrade to the My Drinks Plus package offers a wider variety of wines, top shelf liquors, and more expensive cocktails, and it's possible on board. But here's the thing. To me, the upgrade isn't really worth it because the wines offered with the My Drinks Plus aren't really that much better than the basic package. Not only that, I like to drink rosé, and the rosé offered with the My Drinks Plus tastes as good as the one from the basic package. Now, for our needs, the basic My Drinks package is perfect. And as we said, when you buy it as part of the all-inclusive package at the time of booking, you get excellent value. In fact, the all-inclusive also covers gratuities, housekeeping charges. Now, say you take the position that you don't want to buy the drink package because you don't drink a lot. Okay, fair. Got it. No problem. You can buy everything a la carte. But keep in mind, you're going to even need to pay for water because on Costa, they don't serve tap water at the restaurant. They only serve bottled water. The only free option is the water fountain at the buffet. So keep this in mind. Now, there's other types of packages that can be bought on board for water or coffee, but I still think they're a little pricey. In our opinion, the all-inclusive is the way to go, especially for us. We drink 3 or 4 coffees every day, right? Each coffee alone costs €2.50, so there's €10 there. Add another €11 a day for housekeeping, and add a couple of drinks, and you're already over the all-inclusive price.
Yep.
So why bother, right? And that doesn't even cover the costs for bottled water that you're probably going to have to buy. I mean, I'm not even sure how much it costs. And we've seen so many people walking around with bottles of water to the main dining room, and I'm going, why are they doing this? Well, we figured out because you have to pay for the water. So I'm sorry, it's just not for us. All right, so time to vote for the drinks package, and I give it a 5 out of 5 anchors. Andrea, what do you think?
My vote for the drinking package is also a 5 out of 5, if bought as part of the all-inclusive at the time of booking. I really like to be able to have all the cappuccino I want in the morning without having to worry about how much it costs.
Exactly.
Let's continue our review by talking about the Costa App. The Costa App is the main portal on board to check activities, excursions, connect to the internet, check the menus, and most importantly of all, check your onboard balance.
Yes, it's amazing how many times mistakes happen.
Yep. The app is fine and it does an okay job. It can be a bit slow at the time, especially when you open it, but overall it works. One feature that's quite good about the app is the fact that the night before each port, it gives you all the necessary instruction about the excursion, including the time and the meeting point for the following day. So you don't have to wait for your ticket or stuff like that.
And sometimes even the bus number that you're going to be on.
Another very good feature available on the app is the possibility to do the safety drill digitally on the app without having to congregate at the theater with like 1 million people or somewhere else for your drill.
Yep, and you don't need to walk with your life jacket either.
One thing I wish was available would be the possibility to have the daily program only on the app for passengers that sign up for that. I really think it's a total waste of paper to receive my daily program in the cabin every night that I never even check. So
yeah. At least on this one, they only give us 1. Yep. Sometimes they give us 2.
Like one in Italian and in English. One very important piece of information that we got regarding the Costa app is that it cannot be downloaded in North America because it's not available on the North American application store. This could be very, very frustrating for passengers visiting from the US, and we hope that Costa fixes this as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Even turning on a web portal to see things like your expenses would be a good thing to do,
right?
Better than nothing.
And this is technology that existed, 20
old
years ago.
technology.
I don't know why they don't have it today.
So time to vote for the app, for the Costa app, and for me the app is pretty simple, no frill, but it does the job. So my vote is a 5 out of 5. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so if my vote is a 5 out of 5 because I can use it. If I couldn't use it, it would be a different story, right? All right, so now we continue our Costa Pacifica cruise review by talking about the internet on board. The internet on board is not the fastest, it's typical regular cruise ship internet, but it wasn't the slowest either. We were able to do some work on the 2 sea days using the ship internet, and it was fine. It's still a bit pricey though. For the full internet for the entire week was about 102 euros for unlimited. Now there are cheaper packages available for WhatsApp that costs an amount per day, but you can't check emails with the social media and the WhatsApp.
No.
Lastly, there is a per minute option that costs 25 cents a minute that we used on this particular cruise because, we were in port almost every day and we were able to use our European roaming plan that was included in our cell phone. By the way, if you're thinking of taking a Mediterranean cruise or visiting Italy or Europe, don't spend a fortune on your roaming with your cell phone provider, even if they charge you a per day amount. Check the link in the description below for a very affordable and reliable eSIM solution that you can use all over the EU. All right, so time to vote now for my internet on board. And my vote is a 4 out of 5 anchors. What's your vote?
My vote for the internet on board is a 3 out of 5. The speed could be improved, but overall the fact that the price is very high, I think I don't like it. Especially if you consider that the main Costa competitor in the Mediterranean offered the limited package as part of the all-inclusive package.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, actually.
Costa, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move to our next topic to review on board the Costa Pacifica, and we talk about
the bars.
On Costa Pacifica, there are no lack of bars and lounges. In fact, the ship has 11 bars, which is a huge number for a ship that is the size of the Costa Pacifica. Almost all of the bars are adequate and they serve everything from coffee to cocktail. There are only 2 exceptions. One is the Rick's Wine Bar, located on deck 5 all the way at the back, and they only serves drinks that are not part of the My Drink package, just the plus. And the other one is the Sunset Lounge, located on deck 12 at the front of the ship.
Now, the Sunset Lounge.
Sunset Lounge is the strangest of the bars. In fact, up to 5 p.m. they serve everyone and it's possible to use the My Drink package there.
Up to 5 p.m.
After 5 p.m. After 5 p.m. all the drinks are not included in the My Drink anymore. And unless you have the Plus package, they want you to pay for the drinks.
Yeah, for these strange cocktails that I've never even heard of before.
So if you don't have the Plus package, you have to pay the difference in price between your regular package and the new drink.
And that's even though the menu says that additional drinks and cocktails are available on request. So if you want an Aperol Spritz with the drinks package before 5 p.m.,
it's free, and after 5 p.m. you have to pay. No need to say that we saw a lot of passengers get upset at this, and the bar was almost always empty at night because nobody wanted to pay for their drinks for the upgrade.
Well, there were some people there, to chat, but very few people were ordering drinks.
Yes, people were very confused with this bar because the strange rule, and it's not written anywhere, and the poor bartender had to explain it over and over and over again. The alternative to this bizarre policy was what we did. We grabbed the drink somewhere else, and then we sat down at this beautiful location to check the sunset.
Yes, actually. That was when I invented a new drink, and I called it Grappa to Go. What is Grappa to Go? Well, it's where you grab a grappa at the Grand Bar and take it to the Sunset Lounge. Problem solved. I mean, Sunset Bar was a nice place with nice chairs to watch and the sunset,
Okay, let's vote for bars, and my vote is a 4 out of 5 because of the Sunset Lounge policy that I found quite bad. I mean, if Costa wants to have an exclusive lounge for people with a Plus package or Suite passenger, it could be a good idea, but at least put a big sign at the door saying this lounge is for Plus package holders only. If you have a sign, then you know and you don't go there. So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, exactly. If they want to have an exclusive bar like the Rick's Wine Bar, where everything is paid, or practically everything is paid, that's one thing. But this is the only bar, with a smoking area, and that had the lounge chairs. And honestly, limiting it to My Drinks Plus or paid options seems like a big mistake when passengers expect an all-inclusive vacation. And again, most of us bought the all-inclusive. Now, again, we found a way around it, and it was fine, and because of that, for bars, my vote is also a 4 out of 5 anchors. And now it's time to review my natural habitat. Actually, it's now our natural habitat, the spa. The spa on board the Costa Pacifica is amazing. In fact, I think it's huge for this size of a ship. It's located on decks 11 and 12, and the area Benessere, or the Wellness Center, has an enormous jacuzzi, several relaxing rooms at different temperatures, a steam room, 2 winter gardens to relax and enjoy the ocean while sipping tea and herbal teas. And the Wellness Center can be booked for the entire duration of the cruise, either online or at embarkation. And we think that it's totally worth having it because this area is amazing. And we use the Wellness Center every single day, sometimes even more than once a day, to just come and relax and get away from all the hustle and bustle. We were lucky to sail again with our good friend Michelle at the spa. She is the spa manager, and we met her several times before, and we become very good friends with her. We love to go there just to say hi and check to see how she and her staff were doing. And on this cruise, I also had 4 100-minute massages, and they were fantastic. So thank you, BB, for that. You remembered me from the previous sailing, and so for that we became fast friends.
Okay, time to vote for the spa. What's your vote, Rick?
Duh. My vote is, how about a 10 out of 5? Oh wait, I can only go up to 5. Okay, so it's a 5 out of 5 for the spa and hugs for everyone. Andrea, what do you think?
I really enjoyed the Wellness Center. It was a great place to relax and get away from the busy area of the ship. I really enjoyed sailing with Michelle again, and I hope to see her again very, very soon in our future cruises.
Exactly.
So again, 5 out of 5, very solid for the spa, no doubt. So let's continue our review of the Costa Pacifica by talking about the entertainment team. The entertainment team on board of Costa Pacifica was incredible. They organized some of the best parties I've ever seen on a cruise. Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Even better than the party on the Toscana, so pretty high there.
Yeah.
Now, maybe because it's on this sailing there was 0 COVID restriction in place. Possible. I don't know, but in particular the white party and the Italian night were wild. I mean, I've never seen so many people on a ship dance floor before, ever.
It was totally packed.
For the Italian party night, the kitchen also prepared an incredible midnight buffet that people loved. We recognized a couple of people from the previous sailing on the entertainment team. In particular, Corrado was with us at the best cruise ever. I mean, the Costa Toscana.
Hi, Corrado.
Hi, Corrado. Well, time to vote for the entertainment team, and my vote is like a 5 out of 5, no doubt there. Kept up the good work, guys. It's amazing. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so this is easy. 5 out of 5 anchors. Just party every night. Totally happy. You can't get much better than that.
No.
All right, so moving on to our next topic, and we're going to review the shows. The shows on board the Costa Pacifica were the usual, the singing, dancing, that pleased the crowd of practically every language. We've seen most of these shows before, and for us, they were pretty average. On the first week of sailing, I remember they had that magician that was performing at the theater. It was okay, but his magic was not really suited for such a giant theater.
Yeah.
They also had a team of dancers, that was really cool. They were performing an LED light show. It was
Very cool, actually.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was fun to watch. It was very in the moment and lasted about 45 minutes. And the crowd was very happy with this show, us included. Lastly, on the second week, they also had the Voice at Sea on board, and the crowd were really enthusiastic with it. Maybe I'll try out sometime. Who knows? I always say that. All right, so time to vote for the shows, and I give it a solid 5 out of 5 anchors. Andrea, what do you think?
My vote is a 4 out of 5. Fellow passengers seem to love the shows and the theater, and it was always packed. For us, they were quite repetitive, other than the LED show, which was really, really good and fun to watch. So, 4 I think is good. Now, let's review our next topic, and we're going to talk about the excursions. On this cruise, the excursion office seemed to be a little bit better organized than we had on previous sailing with Costa. One thing that I always liked about Costa excursion is the fact that they can be booked online without having to pay until boarding the ship. However, we were advised on this sailing that once on board, the excursion cannot be refunded anymore.
They cannot be cancelled. They're not cancelled or refunded.
No, that seemed a bit odd because we were able to cancel them on previous sailings with Costa. So
Yep. Don't know, and other cruise providers, not even like 2 or 3 days in advance. Not booked, done.
We booked most of our excursion online prior departure, but unfortunately a few of them were cancelled once we got on board. There was one in particular from Catania to Taormina that I booked online, and it was €60 per person. It was cancelled with no reason whatsoever. Actually, it was on our document that I printed and brought on board with us, but
The day before.
the day before, yeah. But when we were boarding and we were on board, it was gone, disappeared. We booked it again on board, but this time the price was $89, which was quite disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, we did it anyways, and the excursion was actually a lot of fun, so it's okay. But another excursion was cancelled due to the lack of participant, and another one was a boat tour was cancelled because of the weather was not good that day, so I'm glad we cancelled it. So if you are doing excursion with Costa, be prepared to have a plan B in case something gets cancelled.
Absolutely. Even language will do, right?
Overall, the staff at the excursion desk was very, very kind and friendly. In particular, Mattia and Leonardo were very nice.
Hi, guys.
One thing that Costa does well is the fact that in each excursion, one staff member from the ship is with the group all the time, in case something happens. And actually, it's a very good touch. I think it's a good thing for Costa. Well, time to vote now for excursion, and I give them a 4 out of 5. I think that overall they did a good job, even with a few cancellations here and there, but overall, good job. So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so, the day one with that cancellation, and then the bait and switch sort of thing, that was kind of a drag. But I have to say, I really liked the excursions we were on. Nothing really struck out as being bad. But one thing that I really like about Costa Tours is that we don't have to wear these stupid stickers on ourselves like other cruise lines made us do, or Costa made us do in the past. I never liked them because, well, first of all, they look terrible in photos, and second of all, you can spot the plunker. Hey, look, he's from the cruise ship. Anyway, I used to just put them on my phone and protest. But anyway, I digress. 5 out of 5 anchors for the excursions. All right, so the next topic on the Costa Cruise Review is the main dining rooms. Costa Pacifica has 2 main dining rooms, both located on 2 levels on decks 3 and 4. In particular, the New York is located all the way aft, and the My Way restaurant is located midship. Costa still has 2 seatings for dinner, and the first seating on this particular sailing was at 7:30 p.m. and the second was at 9:30. Yes, Italians love to eat late for dinner. The dining rooms looked very spacious and very well laid out, but because we were assigned to the club restaurant, we did not use them, so we're not going to review them. On the Costa Pacifica, there's also a buffet that's open for breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, and dinner on this sailing. The buffet is located on deck 9 towards the back of the ship, and the ambiance is quite big, you know, it's very easy to navigate. The food selection also looked quite nice with lots of variety. We used the My Way once for breakfast and the buffet only once at the very end of one lunch. Both were okay, but since we didn't have much experience with them, I think it's not fair to vote on it. However, we did notice that something on this particular sailing is that the buffet was always really, really busy with a lot of long lines, so maybe that's a good sign.
Moving on our next topic on Costa Pacifica Cruise Review, we will be talking about the specialty restaurants.
The specialty or the specialty restaurants?
Specialty restaurants.
All right.
The Costa Pacifica has several specialty restaurants, and the most famous and expensive is the Archipelago, where you can try a tasting menu decided by one of 3 Michelin star chefs. We talk extensively about this restaurant in previous videos that you can check up here. The next specialty restaurant was the Teppanyaki restaurant that is located on Deck 5, really next to the casino. We did try this restaurant and we deeply enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. The chefs are very well trained and they put quite a good show. Mm-hmm. The food was good and we enjoyed it. The price varies depending on the type of menu you choose, with the most expensive one was about 42 euros and included a grilled lobster. Mm-hmm. It also seemed the most popular choice for most people that were at the table with us that night. Costa Pacifica also has a sushi bar on board called Sushino. It is located on Deck 5 towards the midship. They offer an all-you-can-eat option for sushi that costs $16 for lunch and $21 for dinner. They also have a la carte menu they can pick and choose from. Mm-hmm. On this sailing, we noticed that the sushi restaurant was really busy, especially toward the end of the cruise. Michelle, the spa manager, and her friend took us out for lunch at the Sushino, and if we didn't have a reservation that day, we had to wait a long time to get a table.
Yeah, we would have gone somewhere else.
Yeah. The quality of the food was quite good, and we deeply enjoyed it.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. We'd certainly recommend it, and we'll try it again on future cruises.
Yep, we have actually a lot more cruises booked with Costa, don't we?
Yeah, especially the Sushino is going to be there.
Mm-hmm, yep.
The next specialty restaurant on board the Costa Pacifica is the Pizzeria Pomidoro. The pizzeria is located on Deck 10, all the way aft, and it's open only for dinner. We did not go to the pizzeria, but we ordered pizza at our restaurant, and we have it to say that the pizza was fantastic. Really tasty and made with fresh ingredient. Really similar to a pizza that you get in Naples, yeah. The price for a simple pizza is about 5 euros and it goes up to 15 for a more gourmet kind of pizza.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Costa Pacifica also has a Salty Beach street food restaurant that is located on Deck 9 by the Calypso pool. Actually, maybe it's not really a restaurant, but it's more like a fast food place. Mm-hmm. It is open for lunch and dinner. At lunch, it serves regular burgers and hot dogs, free of charges, included in your fare, while at dinner, they serve gourmet burgers and gourmet sandwiches for a small fee. We did not try it because we were able to order burgers at the Blue Moon Club restaurant free of charges, so why bother?
Yeah, actually, you can order a burger at any of the restaurants off the squat menu, can't you?
Absolutely. On Costa Pacifica, there was a new specialty restaurant that we have never seen before on any other Costa ship. It was called Dinner Under the Stars. Practically, it was a section of the aft pool that at night was set up as an intimate, an intimate restaurant.
Yeah, it was wacky.
We're curious to try it, but we noticed 2 things about it that we were not too crazy about. First, the menu was very similar to our main restaurant, so it was not worth it for us to spend 39 euros to eat the same food that we were able to have at our own restaurant. Second, we noticed that during sailing, the smoke from the ship was blowing towards the restaurants, making the experience not so good, a little smoky, I would say. For this reason, we did not try it. And lastly, we have to talk about the Blue Moon Club restaurant. This restaurant is reserved to suite passengers, some Platinum and Gold Costa Club members. And if there's availability, it can be reserved by other passengers for a fee. Mm-hmm. The food is almost the same as it's served in the main dining room with a couple of extra gourmet options. But the settings is very quiet, intimate, and with a very attentive service.
Yep.
Extremely attentive service. We have to admit that the experience at this restaurant is stellar, and we love to eat so much that we are hesitant to book a Costa cruise if we are not able to get the reservation at this restaurant. So
absolutely.
It's such a good place. After this really long review, at this time, it's time to vote for specialty restaurants, and my vote is a 4 out of 5, mostly due to the fact that I cannot try the archipelago because I cannot make any substitution, because I don't eat seafood.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's kind of like sad I cannot go there.
Doesn't make sense.
What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so I totally get that, but there is one thing about the teppanyaki restaurant that I think we didn't cover, that we probably should have covered. They wanted us to be there at the first seating at 7:45, and they were very clear to us to please be there on time at 7:45. So what did we do? We were there at 7:45, and guess what? We were the only two yahoos sitting there in front of a cold grill for, it was about a half an hour before people started to come in.
Italian don't come to restaurants early.
Right, exactly. So what I don't understand is why they didn't set the time at 8:15 or 8:30.
Because then Italian would call it 8:45.
Oh, well, anyway, for me, sitting around was kind of it doesn't really change anything, but I would recommend, Costa, if you guys are listening, maybe make some adjustments to the time so that everybody, so that we don't have to like sit around and, twiddle our thumbs. So my vote for the specialty restaurants on this, even with all of that, 5 out of 5, because, I love to eat. All right, so our next topic to review on board the Costa Pacifica, it's the casino. The casino on board the Costa Pacifica is located on deck 5 towards the back of the ship, actually right by the teppanyaki restaurant. It is a very big space for such a small ship. It's got a variety of table games and lots of new slot machines. It also wasn't very smoky, and since it was very close to the Grand Bar, getting a drink was easy. Overall, it's a nice area with a lot of room to move around. Now, normally we don't really care much about the casino, but on this particular cruise, I would probably say it was the best casino at sea, honestly. So, on the second to last night, we noticed that we had a few extra credits on board, and we decided to use them at the casino. And I saw an American passenger that we met on some previous excursions, who's probably playing the oldest machine on board. Remember those old video poker machines? So anyway, I decided to say hello. I sat next to him, put $10 in the machine, and, just a chit-chat. And on my second hit, it was something very strange happened. The machine said, "Call attendant." Before realizing it, I hit the jackpot with a royal flush. Long story short, I won 2,000 euros. So no need to say that my vote for the casino is a solid 5 out of 5. Andrea, what do you think?
Well, I also give the casino 5 out of 5. I think that the ambience was very nice, spacious, with a good amount of tables and machine. And I also won 40 euros, so I can't complain. Moving on with our Costa Pacifica cruise review, we will talk about the Costa Club. The Costa Club is the Costa loyalty program, and because you have seen all our video about Costa, you know all about it, right?
Yes.
Well, if you don't, now you can check out all the video that we talk about the Costa Club up here.
Mm-hmm.
So on this particular sailing, we noticed that the gold and platinum members on board were really a few people. And the VIP party, there were less than 30 people. So it was amazing.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, the VIP party is for gold and platinum.
Yeah, that made it quite nice to be able to have a very intimate experience, being able to talk with the officers was quite nice. As an end of the cruise, we got 2 gifts, a very nice foldable backpack, and this pretty ship. Finally, Rick won the prize for being the only Canadian passenger on board, and he won a coupon for $100 off our next cruise.
And not only that, this nice, fashionable Costa Club pin.
Cool. Time to vote for the Costa Club, and my vote is 5 out of 5, because I feel that the perks are quite good for this program. So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, and, thank you, Costa, for the pin and the backpack. Oh, and don't forget, they also gave us this Nice ship model. All right, so how about this collection, right, that we have at home? It's not bad. All right, so, the only thing that all of this stuff was good, but there's only one thing that I don't like. Points expire. I calculated that to become gold, you need to be able to cruise about 2 or 3 times a year. And if you stop, your benefits expire, no matter what your level. Other cruise companies allow you to keep your level if you cruise once or twice over a period of time. So Costa, if you're listening, I know expiring points work really good for you guys, but I think it's totally unfair, especially given what the competition does. At least make it so that, you have to cruise X times in X years to keep your status. So my vote for the Costa Club is going to be a 4 out of 5 anchors. All right, so let's review the next aspect of the Costa Pacifica, and we're going to be talking about the photography. The photography store is located on deck 4, just above the atrium. There's a lot of machines that use facial recognition, and they're able to find all of the photos taken of you on board. Guys, this is great. As usual, Costa has 2 types of photos. They're regular ones that are called My Moments, and they're cheaper, and they can be bought as part of a package, and on this trip it was about 149 euros for an unlimited photos. They also have the My Shades, which are the more professional looking photos, including photos with props, backdrops, and so on, that are a bit more expensive, but they're not part of the package. And this is the problem. It's incredibly confusing, especially for the first-time cruiser who buys the photo package thinking they can buy as many photos as they want, only to find out that the nicer ones, the good ones, are not part of the package. And that's because the photo package is for My Moments and not My Shades. All right, so overall, the photographers on board were all very nice, polite, and not pushy at all. We also became friends with a couple of them that we've met on previous sailings. Ciao, Simona. All being said, my vote for the photography service is going to be a 4 out of 5 because I did enjoy it anyway. Andrea, what do you think?
My vote is a 3 out of 5. The photographer on board were super nice, but I don't really care about taking professional photo on board cruise lines anymore because they all look the same, with the same poses that are super unnatural and we see so many times. So maybe it's time to move on and change the format of those photos.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next topic of our Costa Pacifica cruise review, we will talk about the stores. The stores on board of Costa Pacifica are located on deck 5, above the main atrium. They are the same store you can find on any other Costa ship and any other ship in general. They sell clothes, watches, glasses, jewelry, cosmetics, and a very small selection for toiletry and necessity. On this particular sailing, they were not selling any duty-free items such as liquor and cigarettes, because the itinerary was all within the European Union, so they were not allowed to sell those items.
Actually, I thought it was quite funny on the Toscana when they were offering sales for cigarettes.
Overall, we thought that the store looked quite a bit sad on board of the Costa Pacifica, and they were ready for a bit of makeover. Also, we noticed that on the first day of the second leg of the cruise, the Costa merchandise store was closed. We asked around why was it closed, and nobody would give us a straight answer. After a couple of days, they opened again, but with a completely different kind of merchandise.
Yeah, that was very interesting. It was nice, but
it turned into a souvenir store with a very small amount of Costa brand merchandise.
Yeah.
It would appear, at least on this particular sailing, that Costa is moving away from the branded merchandise for some strange reason. I don't know why. Time to vote for store, and my vote is a 2 out of 5. The store were very sad, and I really like the Costa brand store, so I was kind of sad not seeing it anymore. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, I didn't really care for the stores either. They looked like, that they were dated, they were hospital-like, there was, senza anima, as they say. But, Andrea, you did get some moisturizing cream for your aunt, right, at a really good price? So, my vote is also a 3 out of 5 anchors. Next topic to review on board the Costa Pacifica, and we're going to talk about the overall feeling. So we immediately noticed that the feeling on board was very upbeat. The staff members seemed really happy and everyone in good spirits. Everyone was cheerful and always friendly, and they always seemed interested to know where we were from and if we were enjoying our cruise and what we were doing that day. And passengers were also seemed really happy, and they were enjoying themselves. And in particular, we noticed that passengers on board loved the activities, especially when they involved food, or dancing. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Parties were always packed with people, and people were dancing till really late at night. So my vote for the overall feeling on board is a solid 5 out of 5 anchors. Andrea, what do you think?
My vote is a 5 out of 5 as well. Everyone was happy on board. It was great to see staff members genuinely happy and passengers having a lot of fun. So 5 out of 5, no question. Moving on the last aspect of the review on board the Costa Pacifica, we talk about disembarkation. The disembarkation process was really smooth and efficient.
Yeah.
The port of Taranto seemed very well organized, with shuttle buses, taxis for passengers disembarking, very well done. On board there was the usual baggage deposit area for passengers that wish to have a late disembarkation and leave their bag in the deposit. So for disembarkation, it was an easy vote. It's a 5 out of 5 for me, and pretty solid. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, disembarkation was too easy. Almost too easy, actually. I think they were really they were ready to get rid of us. They were very happy. I'm kidding. Okay, 5 out of 5 anchors for that. Well, folks, we've reached the end of this very long and in-depth review of the Costa Pacifica. So it's time to draw some conclusions. We think that this was really the first cruise 100% back to the pre-pandemic. There was no mention of the word mask on board. They had gel dispensers on board, but almost nobody cared for them, and no more than the usual pre-pandemic. Everyone on board also seemed pretty happy and in good spirits, and yes, okay, fine, there was some areas that needed a bit of improvement. We'll call it opportunities for improvement, but overall, this was a fantastic cruise, and we had a lot of fun, and we met some new friends that we hope to see again. We were also able to see some old friends from previous sailings and create even deeper bonds with them. So thank you, Costa Pacifica, for an amazing 2 weeks of fun, and we look forward to being back on board with you all again. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.